There is a door on the third floor of the Grevilled City Museum that has been locked since the 17th of October 1903. It leads to the East Wing, a section that once housed the museum's collection of civic artifacts and historical photographs. The door is not hidden. It sits in plain view at the end of the main corridor, marked with a small brass plate reading, "East Wing closed for renovation." The renovation never happened. The wing has been sealed for over a century, and no museum director in the past 120 years has authorized its reopening. I found the closure record while researching the museum's early exhibition catalogs. I was looking for information about a specific photographic collection that had been donated in 1899. The catalog entry listed the photographs as being displayed in the East Wing Gallery 4. When I asked to view them, the archivist told me the East Wing had been closed in 1903 and the contents were no longer accessible. I asked why. She pulled a file marked East Wing Closure, 1903, and handed me a single document. The document was a resolution passed by the Museum Board of Directors on the 16th of October 1903. It stated that the East Wing would be temporarily closed to the public due to structural concerns identified during a routine inspection. The resolution authorized the museum director to secure the wing and relocate any essential exhibits to other galleries. The closure was described as temporary, with reopening contingent upon completion of necessary repairs. The resolution was signed by all 7 board members. It was the only document in the file. I requested access to the board meeting minutes from October 1903. The minutes confirmed that the resolution had been discussed and approved, but the discussion itself was summarized in a single sentence. Director Merrick presented concerns regarding East Wing structural integrity, and the board voted unanimously to approve temporary closure pending assessment. No details about the structural concerns. No mention of what the inspection had revealed. No timeline for repairs, just closure, effective immediately. Here is what strikes me about the timing. The East Wing had been opened to the public in 1897, 6 years before the closure. It had been purpose-built as part of the museum's expansion designed by the architectural firm of Halstead and Cross, which specialized in institutional buildings. The construction was documented as meeting all contemporary standards for museum facilities. The wing had been in use without incident for 6 years when it was suddenly deemed structurally unsound. I searched for records of the structural inspection mentioned in the resolution. The museum's archives contain inspection reports for other parts of the building from the same period, all filed under facilities maintenance. I found reports from 1901, 1902, and 1904. There is no inspection report for the East Wing in 1903. I checked the city's Department of Building Safety archives. They maintained records of all structural inspections conducted on public buildings during this period. I found inspection reports for the main museum building in 1900 and 1905. No report for the East Wing in 1903. The inspection that supposedly identified structural concerns severe enough to warrant immediate closure appears to have left no documentary evidence. But here is the detail that doesn't fit. I found correspondence between museum director Osric Merrick and the architectural firm of Halstead and Cross dated November 1903, 1 month after the closure. The letter from Merrick requests a consultation regarding modifications to the third floor layout. Halstead and Cross responded with a proposal for permanent sealing of the East Wing corridor and redistribution of exhibition space. Not repairs, sealing, permanent sealing. The proposal was accepted. By December 1903, workers had installed a reinforced door at the East Wing entrance and sealed the ventilation shafts that connected the wing to the rest of the building. The work was documented in contractor invoices filed under Building Modifications, 1903. The invoices describe the installation of secure closure apparatus and environmental isolation measures. The total cost was 847 marks, paid from the museum's discretionary fund. Environmental isolation measures for a wing that was supposedly going to reopen after repairs. I started looking for what had been exhibited in the East Wing before the closure. The 1902 museum catalog lists the contents of each gallery. The East Wing contained 4 galleries. Gallery 1 displayed civic ceremonial objects, mayoral chains of office, ceremonial keys, municipal seals. Gallery 2 housed historical documents, city charters, land deeds, founding agreements. Gallery 3 contained architectural models and building plans. Gallery 4 held the photographic collection I had originally been trying to access. The photographic collection was donated by the estate of Harlan Vex, a commercial photographer who had died in 1899. According to the donation records, the collection included approximately 600 photographs, documenting Grevald's development between 1870 and 1899. The catalog entry describes the photographs as a comprehensive visual record of civic growth and architectural evolution. After the East Wing closure, most of the ceremonial objects and historical documents were relocated to other galleries. The architectural models were placed in storage, but the photographic collection was not moved, according to the museum's inventory records from 1904. The Vex photographs remained in Gallery 4 of the sealed East Wing. 600 photographs left behind when everything else was relocated. Now here is where the timing becomes difficult to explain. I found newspaper accounts of the East Wing closure from October 1903. The Grevald Daily Courier published a brief notice on the 18th of October. The day after the closure took effect, the notice stated that the East Wing of the City Museum had been temporarily closed for maintenance, and that visitors should use the main galleries. No mention of structural concerns, no estimated reopening date. I found one letter to the editor published on the 25th of October, 1903. A museum visitor complained that he had specifically come to view the Vex photographic collection and was disappointed to find the East Wing unexpectedly closed. He asked when it would reopen. The museum's response, published the following day, stated only that the closure was temporary and necessary for building maintenance. No other public discussion of the closure appears in any newspaper through the rest of 1903 or into 1904. The East Wing simply vanished from public consciousness. By 1905, museum guidebooks no longer mentioned it. Floor plans published in the 1906 catalog showed the third floor ending at the corridor where the sealed door stood, with no indication that additional space existed beyond it. But here is what bothers me most. I found a record of museum attendance from 1897 through 1910. The numbers were recorded monthly and filed with the Museum Board's annual reports. In 1902, the year before the closure, the museum averaged 2,300 visitors per month. In October 1903, the month of the closure, attendance was 2,250. In November 1903, it was 2,180. By 1904, monthly attendance had stabilized around 2,100. The loss of an entire wing, roughly 1/4 of the museum's exhibition space, resulted in a less than 10% decline in visitors. Either the East Wing had been barely visited before its closure, or visitors didn't notice or care that it was gone. I searched for any mention of the Vex photographs in subsequent museum records. I found references in donor correspondence from 1900 and 1901, where Harlan Vex's widow expressed appreciation for the museum's care of her late husband's work. I found one exhibition review from 1901 that praised the photographic collection as an invaluable record of our city's transformation. After October 1903, the photographs disappear from all records. No loan requests, no scholarly references, no exhibition mentions. The collection that had been called invaluable was never mentioned again. I requested permission to examine the sealed East Wing. The museum's director informed me that access was not possible. When I asked why, she explained that the wing had been sealed for preservation purposes and that opening it would require board approval, structural assessment, and significant resources. I asked if there were plans to eventually reopen it. She said there had been discussions over the years, but no formal proposal had been developed. I asked what was being preserved. She said she didn't know. The contents had been documented in 1903, but those records were incomplete. I found one more document that I haven't been able to explain. It is a memo dated the 15th of October 1903, one day before the board resolution to close the East Wing. The memo is from Director Merrick to the museum's head of security. It reads, "Effective immediately, Gallery 4 is to be cleared of all visitors by 4 p.m. daily. No exceptions. Post attendant at corridor entrance. Maintain log of all attempted access." The memo was filed in security records, not with the East Wing closure documentation. It suggests that Gallery 4, the gallery containing the Vex photographs, was being restricted even before the official closure. I searched for the visitor access log mentioned in the memo. I couldn't find it. Either it was never created or it was removed from the archive. Harlan Vex had been photographing Greville since the 1870s. His commercial work included portraits, event documentation, and architectural photography. He photographed buildings, streets, civic ceremonies, and public gatherings. His work was considered technically excellent and historically valuable. When he died in 1899, his widow donated his complete archive to the museum with the stipulation that it be made available for public viewing and scholarly research. 4 years later, that archive was sealed behind a locked door. I tried to find examples of Vex's work outside the museum collection. I searched newspaper archives for published photographs credited to him. I found dozens: street scenes, building dedications, mayoral inaugurations, festival celebrations, all from before 1899. The photographs show exactly what you would expect: a growing industrial city in the late 19th century. Buildings, crowds, horse, drawn carriages, Victorian street life. Nothing unusual, nothing controversial. But the museum sealed his entire archive and never reopened it. The door is still there. 3rd floor, end of the corridor. Brass plate still reads "Closed for renovation." Behind it, Gallery 4 still contains approximately 600 photographs that no one has seen since October 1903. Photographs that were deemed valuable enough to accept as a donation, important enough to display publicly, and then urgent enough to seal away permanently with no explanation beyond a structural concern that left no documentary evidence and prompted no repairs. The museum has changed directors 17 times since 1903. The building has been renovated, expanded, and modernized. Fire safety systems installed. Climate control upgraded. Earthquake reinforcement added. Every part of the structure has been assessed, modified, and certified, except the East Wing, which remains locked, sealed, waiting for structural repairs that were never scheduled.